Hi, and welcome to Create Today with Lisa Salkeld. That's me. Today we will use acetate to refresh our favorite projects. Here are a few samples or ways to use acetate. We can make a window sheet card, like we'll do today with the pumpkin version. You can stamp on acetate, die cut it, and color it in with your favorite alcohol markers. And it just adds a different texture to your layered cards. There's always making a shaker, one of my favorites. And look at the Fond of Autumn stamp set and dies. Oh my gosh, my current favorites. Beautiful. I used the harvest paper on that one. And then another way to use acetate is to emboss on the acetate, like I did here. And it just shows off your DSP in a different light. This is the embossing folder that I used to get the snowflake pattern into my acetate paper. Okay, lots of things to do. We'll make this pumpkin card today. All right, I'll get those out of the way and bring in my supplies. First, the acetate that I'm using are the window sheets on page 140. They come as a 12 by 12 pack. And I cut mine down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I get a strip of a little bit smaller one as well. And I just pop those in a folder, have them ready to use. We'll use a couple of dies today. The pumpkin and the flower head from Hello Harvest. And so we will need a card base, an acetate, a piece of DSP, a couple of cover pieces, we'll need the sentiment and images from Rustic Harvest or Hello Harvest. The paper and the stamp are, one's Hello and one's Rustic. And I also need some ribbon. We will use this mesh ribbon, metallic mesh ribbon from the annual catalog. It's pretty groovy. Okay, I'm going to color now with my color pencils. I will play some music while I'm coloring, speed up the process, and I will see you on the other side. Okie dokie, all colored, and now it is time to create our card base. So to make the window for the acetate piece, I take my card base and I cut it down about 1 inch to the right of my folded edge. And then I take that scrap piece and I cut another 1 inch strip from that scrap piece. And then what happens now is my acetate is the same size as my card front, so it's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. So on my 1 inch flap here that I have, I'm going to put some tape down, and I will put the acetate on top of this flap, okay, on top of the flap. And then what happens is I will put the 1 inch piece, I will adhere the 1 inch piece, I'll use tape again, to the bottom of the acetate. So my white cardstock is on the same side, okay? It will be on the back of my window sheet. Okay, so you'll see me flip it over here, and I'm adding my base here. Okay, so this is the beginning of our card base with our acetate sheet. Now I need to cover where that tape is. So I've just pulled some paper that I liked with the foil dot pattern, silver foil dot pattern. It mimics some gray dots that are in the background of this pumpkin paper, and that's why I chose this paper. So I take my two 1 inch strips and I now put these on top of the acetate sheet. Okay, so I've got my design papers on the top of the acetate, and I've got my cardstock / card base on the bottom or below my acetate sheet. Okay, and then that's how easy it is to make a window sheet card. The base is ready to go. Next, I will put my pumpkin die cut together. So I use 2 layers of the flower head, but I only use 1 layer of the pumpkin. So I go ahead and attach these layers here with dimensionals between. Okay, and then I have the perfect little die cut sandwich here. And I need to add that to the top of my pumpkin. But for this card, I want the top of the pumpkin, of the flower head, and the bottom of the pumpkin, I want those to overlap onto my 1 inch strips of paper. So I want to adhere the flower head to the pumpkin, but make sure it's tall enough to reach above and below the window sheet. And I think I've got it there. So I go ahead, I'm going to adhere my DSP, and I've got a little something off here. I wasn't sure if it was the card base or the DSP. I think it may be the DSP, but something's a little bit off skew, so you see me play with it just a little bit. So I add this paper just below that center line so that my card folds nicely. And you see I've got that little piece right there, so I just trim the bottom off and I'm good to go. Okay, and everything folds up nicely. You can really see those pumpkins. It's just a fresh look at some of your DSPs with the acetate. It's fun, shows off the papers. Okay, I'll add my die cut pumpkin here, just with a little glue at the top and the bottom. Just make sure, because that's an acetate window there, you don't want any of your glue showing through the acetate because it will be seen. Okay, I'll cover those with blocks, let them sit for a minute. Now I should have put some seal on the back of this hello sentiment and not just the glue. So that sentiment is sliding all over that foil. It's a mess. So that's all right. I'll learn someday, but it's not going to be today. All right, I get that all pretty, and I'll put a block on top of that, try to get that glue to grab there. Okay, now I'm just cutting my mesh. I keep it simple, guys. I just cut a piece of mesh, put some glue down, and push the mesh into the glue, and it will dry like that. It's a little bit long there. Okay, and I'm just using my poker tool just to push that mesh down into the glue. All right, now I need to adhere my sentiment. Now I need to put more glue behind the sentiment down along the whole lower edge of the sentiment. I just don't think about it here. So in a minute I'll go back and fix that. Okay, now, do you see all of these dots here? So we're gonna glam up this pumpkin card because it just needed some glamour. With the acetate, with the shiny acetate, I thought we need some more rhinestones. So I just took these rhinestones and I just loaded them up. Now you really don't need to put the rhinestones below the areas of the DSP that will be covered by those 2 white strips on the cover. You really just want the rhinestones in that center section that will be seen through the acetate. But I was just having fun with rhinestones here, so I just loaded them up. Look, isn't that, I mean, it really looks pretty through the acetate. That is just fun. And I mean, really, how many rhinestones do we have? Are you even a crafter if you don't have like 10 packs of these in your stamp room? I mean, look how cute that is. Oh my goodness. Glamma, glamma. Okay, and then what I'm doing here, I just put a few rhinestones. I put them right on top of a few of these dots. I don't try to do anything else. I just stick them right on top of the dots there. I add 5, 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And this is where I realized that my glue's not stuck, my sentiment's not stuck down, so I need to fix that. Just add more glue. And after I was done videotaping, I put a block on top of each of these sentiments and let it sit on the table, and then they were fine. They're good to go. Now I put writing panels on the back of these and forgot to leave one off to show you on the video. So I just, because the inside of the card is our design panel that we can't write on, I just added a panel to the back for writing. So the inside's not for writing, and if your thoughtful note, just add that to the back. Look how pretty. I mean, that is a glamorous pumpkin card. And then I had some of these envelopes with the silver on them. I thought, oh my goodness. Last step, I just had some of these silver pens. I just pulled one out and added some dots to the floral image. So we've got dots on our die cut, dots on our paper, and dots on our inside pumpkin DSP. So glamorous, glamorous. Hope you enjoy them. Look at that. Who wouldn't want to receive a card like that? Beautiful. Stay cozy.